The story begins in 1952, New York City. A young man named Marty, in his early 20s, works in his uncle's shoe shop. Officially, he's just a salesman, but deep down, he dreams of something far bigger than selling leather and laces. One afternoon, a woman named Rebecca walks into the store. She tells Marty she loves the new pair of shoes she bought the day before, but accidentally left her old pair behind. Marty offers to help and escorts her to the storage room to search for them. As they head toward the back, Marty's uncle calls him over and hands him a stack of freshly printed business cards. He proudly announces that Marty is now the new manager of the shop. It's supposed to be a proud moment, but instead of excitement, disappointment flashes across Marty's face. Managing a shoe store is not the future he wants. In the privacy of the storage area, away from the customers and employees, Marty and Rebecca share a secret romantic moment. It becomes clear that their relationship is far more personal than it appears. Later that day, Marty goes to play in a local table tennis match. Table tennis is his true passion, but during the match, he struggles badly. His opponent is dressed entirely in white, and the ball is also white, making it nearly impossible for him to track it. Frustration quickly turns into anger, and in the middle of the game, Marty loses control and starts a physical fight with his opponent. The chaos is interrupted when a woman informs him that his mother has called. When Marty returns the call, his mother tells him she isn't feeling well and asks him to come see her. Meanwhile, Rebecca is heading home when she notices Marty speaking on the phone with his mother. She quietly listens to part of their conversation from a distance. Just then, Rebecca's husband, Ira, arrives. Rebecca quickly hangs up her phone and lies, telling him she had been trying to call a friend named Julie, but the line was busy. Later, Marty meets his close friend, Diane. Together, they visit Diane's father, who owns a factory that manufactures table tennis balls. Marty passionately explains his idea. They should produce balls in different colors so players can clearly see them against various uniforms. He confidently claims that he has already defeated players who would later become world champions, and insists he is destined to become America's greatest table tennis player. Afterward, Marty returns to the shoe shop to collect his belongings. There, his co-worker Lloyd informs him that Rebecca suddenly felt unwell and left early. Worried, Marty calls her mother, who says Rebecca is sick and currently away on a trip. As Marty prepares to leave, Lloyd catches him secretly taking money. The situation escalates quickly. In a moment of anger and desperation, Marty pulls out a gun and points it at Lloyd. He claims Rebecca owes him money and threatens that, as the new manager, he could fire her or accuse her of theft. Lloyd has never trusted Marty, but not wanting trouble, he reluctantly hands over the cash. With the money in his possession, Marty travels to London, where a major international table tennis championship is about to begin. Players from all around the world have gathered to compete. The tournament starts, and Marty performs brilliantly. He easily defeats his opponents in the early rounds and advances to the third round without much difficulty. During the competition, he becomes fascinated by a Japanese player named Koto Endo. Endo is incredibly fast and skilled, using a unique grip and technique that leaves his opponents helpless. Marty studies him carefully, almost obsessively, inspired by his style and equipment. Despite his victories, Marty isn't satisfied. He complains to tournament officials about his poor accommodation, arguing that without proper rest, he won't be able to win the championship. The officials ignore him, dismissing his complaints. During a press event, reporters crowd around a famous actress named Kay Stone. Marty notices her immediately and is captivated by her beauty and elegance. Later that night, he calls her hotel room. Introducing himself as an admirer, he tells her to look up his name in the newspapers after his victories. He boldly invites her to his room for breakfast. Kay politely declines, explaining that she has to attend a promotional event for her husband's pen company. Without encouraging him further, she ends the call. And just like that, Marty's obsession begins to grow, not only with table tennis, but with fame, power, and desire. Marty refuses to give up on Kay. He calls her again and challenges her playfully. He tells her to look out the window at a fruit stand across the street. If he can hit an apple from his hotel window using a table tennis ball, she must come to watch his match. Kay agrees, amused. Marty takes his shot, and the ball strikes the apple perfectly. The next day, Kay arrives at the stadium and quietly takes a seat in the audience to watch his semi-final match against the powerful European champion, Bay Kletsky. Marty plays brilliantly. With confidence and flair, he defeats Bay in straight sets, showing off his aggressive style and sharp reflexes. The crowd is stunned by his dominance. Among the spectators is Japanese champion Koto Endo, who watches every move carefully, studying Marty's techniques without showing any emotion. That evening, Marty and Bay have dinner together. Bay offers him an opportunity to join his international touring team. He promises global fame, exhibition matches, and financial success. But Marty refuses. He wants more than exhibitions. He wants legacy. During dinner, Marty notices Kay seated at a nearby table with her husband, businessman Milton Rockwell. Trying to impress them, Marty secretly pays their bill. Milton soon approaches their table and calmly asks why a stranger would pay for his dinner. Marty smiles and says he is simply a fan of Milton's pen company and wanted to show appreciation. Milton accepts the explanation, though he remains suspicious. As the evening continues, Milton notices a faded serial number tattooed on Bay's arm. He immediately recognizes it as a concentration camp identification mark. When he asks about it, Bay quietly explains that he survived the camps only because the guards discovered his talent for table tennis. His skill kept him alive. Milton reveals that his own son was killed while helping liberate those very camps during the war. At that moment, Marty makes an awkward, poorly timed laugh. The table falls silent. Milton's face hardens. He firmly tells Marty to sit down and listen. Bay continues his story. He explains how he was once forced to defuse bombs outside the camp. One day he followed a starving woman who had covered herself in honey so others could survive by licking it from her skin. It was a desperate act of sacrifice. The weight of the story silences everyone. That night, Kay comes to Marty's suite. The two grow closer and spend the night together. The next day, the championship final begins. Marty faces Koto Endo. From the start, Endo dominates the match. His serve is unreadable, his movements lightning fast. Marty loses point after point, unable to understand the spin or rhythm of Endo's strategy. He drops the first two games. In the third game, trailing and desperate, Marty pushes himself harder than ever. He adjusts his positioning and briefly regains momentum, narrowing the score gap, but Endo remains composed. Milton Rockwell is in the audience, watching closely, and he takes clear satisfaction in seeing Marty struggle. The score reaches 20-17, match point. The entire stadium holds its breath. Marty serves, but the pressure overwhelms him. His return is weak. Endo smashes the final shot. Game over. Endo wins. Furious and humiliated, Marty demands a rematch. Officials immediately reject the request. The result is final. Endo returns to Japan a national hero. After defeating an American champion, he becomes the face of table tennis across Asia. The upcoming Tokyo Championship turns him into a cultural icon. Sometime later, Milton contacts Marty with a business proposal. Milton wants to expand his company into the Asian market, capitalizing on the table tennis craze. He offers Marty an exhibition rematch against Endo in Tokyo. But there's a condition. Marty must play brilliantly, and then intentionally lose to please the Japanese audience. It would entertain the crowd and help promote Milton's brand. Marty refuses immediately. He says throwing the match would dishonor Milton's son, who died fighting for freedom against the same forces. Milton walks away disappointed, but not defeated. With his competitive career fading, Marty and Bay begin performing trick shot exhibitions during halftime shows at basketball games around the world. What once felt like a dream now feels humiliating. Instead of being a champion, Marty becomes a novelty act, something he never wanted. Eventually, discouraged and exhausted, Marty returns home to New York. His mother, Judy, notices the frustration and emptiness in him. She tries to comfort him. Marty gives her a strange souvenir, a small stone he secretly stole from the pyramids during one of his tours. He presents it like a treasure, though it feels more like a symbol of his lost direction. Later, he goes to take a shower. When he steps out, a man arrives at the house claiming to be a police officer. "I'm here to arrest you," he says. The complaint has been filed by Marty's uncle. Marty is stunned. His uncle soon reveals the real situation and gives him two choices. Either return to the shoe shop and take full responsibility as manager, or go to jail. Marty tries desperately to reason with him, but his uncle refuses to listen. To make matters worse, he even takes the money from Marty's luggage, leaving him with nothing. Under pressure and humiliation, Marty reluctantly agrees to the condition and walks back into the shop. But moments later, the truth comes out. His uncle pays a friend and reveals that the police officer was actually just an actor hired to scare Marty into obedience. Realizing he's been manipulated, Marty climbs out through a window and escapes. Unfortunately, this time the police chasing him are real. He runs through the crowded streets until Era spots him. Desperate, Marty hides inside Rebecca's bakery and calls his friend Wally for help. While hiding, Marty notices something shocking, a visible bump on Rebecca's stomach. Rebecca tearfully reveals that she is pregnant, and the baby is his. She says she had been trying to reach him for weeks. Marty is overwhelmed. He tries to comfort her, but before they can talk further, Era catches them together. A violent fight breaks out. Ira calls the real police, and Marty escapes through the back door, hiding inside a large trash container as officers search the area. Later, Marty meets Wally at a cheap hotel. The receptionist reluctantly gives them a room, but warns them that the shower doesn't work. In the lobby, a strange man enters with a filthy, foul-smelling dog. Upstairs, Wally checks his mail. Meanwhile, Marty receives a notice about an unpaid fine. As he walks across the room to show Wally the letter, the weak floor suddenly collapses beneath them. Both men crash into the lobby below, landing on the dog owner and his pet. Chaos erupts. After helping the injured man up, Marty demands a refund from the receptionist, but she refuses. The injured dog owner then makes an offer. If Marty agrees to take care of his dog for 2 weeks, he'll pay him triple the amount. Martio immediately asks for an advance. The deal is made. Later, Marcio and Wally visit an underground table tennis gambling den where people bet large sums of money on matches. Wally pretends to be emotionally broken and tells a fake tragic story to gain sympathy from the crowd. While performing this dramatic act, he secretly funnels betting money toward Martio. Martio plays against a local hustler named Brody. Brody cheats, and Martio intentionally loses at first to build tension. The crowd becomes restless. Wally then dramatically challenges Martio to a small $5 bet, drawing even more attention. The crowd gathers tightly around them. Brody returns, suspicious, and notices Wally feeding money into the setup. The audience tells Martio to let Wally keep his last $5 so he can afford to travel back home, but Martio refuses. Now the stakes rise. Brody challenges Martio for $40. The crowd pools together the money, backing Brody confidently. This time Martio plays seriously. He defeats Brody decisively. The hustle works perfectly. Martio and Wally leave with their winnings. But at a gas station, Martio suddenly takes all the money from Wally, promising he'll return it later. Before they can leave, the dog owner's men attack them and steal the cash. In desperation, Martio throws gasoline at the attackers and speeds away in his car. Moments later, a massive explosion erupts at the station. Martio believes the dog owner has died in the blast. Disturbed and shaken, Martio returns to his old neighborhood. There, he finds Rebecca with bruises on her face. Era has beaten her. Enraged, Martio sneaks into the house, grabs a weapon, and attacks Era. Afterward, he takes Rebecca to his friend Dean's house for safety, introducing her as his sister to avoid suspicion. Dean agrees to help since his father isn't home. While there, Dean proudly shows Marty something incredible, a new, high-quality table tennis ball branded with Marty's name. Marty is stunned. For a moment, he sees a glimpse of the champion he once dreamed of becoming. The next day, Marty cleverly contacts Milton Rockwell's office and discovers he is attending a theater performance. Marty goes to the theater and sees Kay Stone performing on stage. During a rehearsal, another actor struggles with his lines and chemistry. Marty steps in and performs the scene more convincingly, impressing Kay instantly. Milton, however, is furious to see him. Marty lies to Milton's secretary, claiming he was a close friend of Milton's late son, just to gain access. Ignoring warnings, Marty leaves the theater with Kay. That night, they grow close again. But even in intimacy, Marty's ambition overshadows everything. While Kay is distracted, he secretly removes her keychain, quietly setting up his next move. Marty secretly places Kay's keychain in the bathtub earlier that night. Later, he pretends to find it and returns it to her, hoping to look honest and heroic. However, when he tries to pawn the necklace later for cash, the pawn shop owner examines it closely and reveals the truth. It's fake. Marty is stunned. The plan he thought was clever turns out to be meaningless. At the same time, Dean's father pressures Marty for the money he had promised to invest in producing the new table tennis balls branded with his name. Marty has no money left and begins to panic. Desperate, he asks Rebecca to pretend she is in severe pain so they can manipulate Dean into helping them. They take the dog collar and borrow Dean's car, claiming they need to find the dog owner. Locals point them toward an isolated house near the site of the gas station explosion. Marty spots the dog inside the house. Suddenly, the owner appears with a gun and orders them to leave. A violent confrontation begins. During the chaos, Rebecca saves Marty by hitting the owner with the car, allowing them to escape. They return to Dean's house, but Dean demands they leave immediately. Rebecca breaks down in tears. In frustration, Marty shames Dean for refusing to help a pregnant woman. Dean reluctantly agrees to let them stay. But then Marty foolishly reveals that Rebecca's earlier injury was fake. Dean feels betrayed An argument explodes inside the house. When Dean's father arrives and learns about the deception, he angrily throws ping-pong balls at them and kicks both Marty and Rebecca out. With nowhere to go, Rebecca contacts the dog owner and demands ransom money. The owner insists he must see the dog first. Rebecca sets up a trap by inviting a random man to a hotel room as bait. When the dog owner arrives and realizes the dog isn't there, he brutally beats the innocent man. Rebecca tries to escape, but the owner's men chase and capture her. Meanwhile, Marty returns Kay's jewelry and confesses that he had tried to gain her sympathy. Kay realizes he manipulated her and coldly tells him to leave. Marty reveals he plans to go to Japan for the next tournament. Kay's publicist informs her that Milton Rockwell has purchased all the tickets for the event. However, Kay secretly arranges one ticket for Marty. Later, she writes him a letter inviting him to meet her at midnight in the park. There, under the quiet night sky, Kay gives Marty one of her real necklaces, one of her most valuable pieces, so he can fund his career honestly. Marty becomes emotional. For once, someone believes in him without conditions. They spend the night together in the park, but police officers discover them. When the officers see the expensive necklace, they confiscate it and release Kay. The next day, Kay attends a high-profile party hosted by Milton. Marty sneaks into the event and begs Milton for another opportunity. Milton agrees, but only under humiliating conditions. In front of the guests, Marty must remove his pants, bend over, and allow himself to be slapped as punishment for his arrogance. Marty swallows his pride and endures the humiliation. Later, at his usual underground table tennis spot, the dog owner suddenly appears, with Rebecca held hostage. He demands the location of the dog. Marty leads him there, but the situation spirals out of control. The owner opens fire. Rebecca is shot while sitting in the car. In the exchange, the dog owner is also fatally wounded. As he dies, Rebecca weakly tells Marty to withdraw the money they had hidden. The following day, Marty travels to Tokyo on Milton's private plane. At the tournament venue, an official informs him that the match schedule is finalized. He will not be playing. Shocked and furious, Marty publicly challenges Koto Endo. He makes a bold and ridiculous wager. The loser must lick a pig in front of the crowd. Endo wins the first game easily. A pig is brought onto the stage as part of the spectacle, but suddenly Marty stops everything. He angrily reveals that the exhibition match was staged and manipulated. He demands a real, honest game. The crowd erupts in cheers. Endo, proud and confident, agrees to a legitimate match. What follows is intense, long rallies, fierce smashes, unstoppable pressure. Milton tries to intimidate Marty from the sidelines, but this time Marty ignores him. In the final moment, Marty serves with complete focus. He wins. Japan falls silent in shock. For the first time, Marty earns victory not through tricks, lies, or manipulation, but through pure skill. After the match, Marty calls the hospital. Rebecca is alive. She is in the maternity ward. Marty returns to America immediately. At the hospital, he gently holds Rebecca's hand. A nurse brings their newborn baby to him. For the first time in his life, Marty is not chasing fame, money, or ego. He is simply a father, standing at the beginning of something real. He gets emotional and starts crying and watches the movie. It ends on this emotional ending.